the idea of continuous self-improvement. Once that is really ingrained and instilled in us, we operate our lives from that point of focus of continuously wanting to be better and improve on every area and aspect of our lives.
Welcome to Happiness for Humanity. I'm Rania Badruddin, the happiness consultant from Egypt. Join me and my guests for an hour of meaningful conversations for a happier world. Joining me today is Dina Al-Mufti. Dina is the founder of Injaz Egypt, which is an organization that promotes a culture of entrepreneurship and supports young entrepreneurs to launch and scale their businesses. Dina is also an angel investor, and she's the co-founder of Soulful Festival, Egypt's largest celebration of health and wellness. And Dina coaches and helps people to develop a growth mindset, which is what we're here to talk about today. Thank you so much, Dina, for joining me.
Thank you, Rania. It's a pleasure.
I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about because, to be honest, the idea of a growth mindset was not something I was even aware of. And as it turns out, it's something that I struggled with for the largest part of my life because I didn't have a growth mindset. I had what's called a fixed mindset, which is kind of thinking that, oh, okay, I am whatever I am this minute or whatever I'm able to do, or things are just sort of as they are now. And not the idea of, oh, well, things can change. I can change. Things can develop. I can get better at stuff. I didn't really have that concept. So yeah, let me ask you, what got you first of all started to be interested in this topic, and then actually to help people along that? Was it a personal experience, or did you read up on it and do research? Like, what got you to be talking about this today?
Well, definitely for the start, it's something I experienced internally as well. I think a lot of us maybe aren't when we grow up, as we're growing up, we're not really exposed or aware that there's, something called that we can develop ourselves and improve ourselves continuously. And it's really an awareness that we need to develop, that we can actually improve, like the idea of continuous self-improvement. Once that is really ingrained and instilled in us, we operate our lives from that point of focus of continuously wanting to be better and improve on every area and aspect of our lives. And how it happened for me, I guess it happened, I don't know when it happened, but it was definitely instilled from a young age of wanting to always be better, get better, learn new things, expose myself to new experiences, always learning from mistakes that I'd make and think, how can I get better? Learning from challenging situations that I'd faced at a young age and reflecting on what's my learning from this. So I guess it's from a young age, it was a perspective of how to continuously improve. I was never really satisfied with just staying how I am through. And what helped me, I think, is different challenges that I faced, whether after graduating, starting a career, establishing an organization, building a team, and all the challenges that came with that. Having to deal with the various challenges of growing a business, the various challenges of starting a family at a very young age, having my kids at a young age, and juggling that. I think from a young age I was exposed to a lot of challenges, and that are overwhelming and were overwhelming, but I learned a lot from it, and I grew a lot from it, and it made me a better and because I had that outlook and perspective that, okay, I'm kind of witnessing all these challenges not as, oh my God, it's the end of the world, this is destroying me, this is bringing me down, to okay, how can I to shift that perspective to, okay, how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I become a better person from this? How can I become a better leader from this? So all the challenges that were coming my way, and this was all happening in my early 20s, having that outlook and that perspective, I think really helped me in improving and continuously having that kind of mindset of improving a small bit each day. And that helped me become a better leader to my team. It helped me grow as an entrepreneur, leading a business and an organization. It helped me become a better mom, a better parent. It helped me, I think, grow in various aspects of my life and my relationships and my health. It's really how it was prioritizing the different aspects of my life. And if you would allow me just to just take this minute just to share with everyone that it really boils down to not only our perception and our perspective on how we meet challenges, but also it's a personal decision on, okay, we want to grow, we want to learn, we want to evolve, we want to improve. And it's all about really, if we improve 1% a day. And there's a book that I really love, that I'd recommend people to read, by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. And it's also all about choosing to improve 1% a day, even, tiny steps that make remarkable improvements in our life. And really balance comes from growing in an important area of our life every day. And I think being aware of the different aspects of our life that we want to improve on, whether it's our career, our financial life, our family life, our relationships, our health and fitness, our spirituality, our mindset, and reflecting on where we stand in each of these areas and how we want to improve and what is our ultimate vision in each of these areas will really help us set up a plan that can really take us, to another place and create a real balance in our life in all these areas. So always have continuous self-improvement as your top priority. Expose yourself to different books, materials, resources, anything that will help you grow a tiny bit each day. Expose yourself to, ways you can improve yourself personally and professionally. Seek out a mentor, a coach, seek out a network of people who can support you. So these are the different ways I think that, we can all work on ourselves in developing a growth mindset.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. You've shared so many things and you got me thinking about a lot of things. First of all, I didn't realize that we have that much in common in terms of our journeys. So I didn't realize that you also started so young, both in entrepreneurship and motherhood. So yes. I was also early 20s, 21, 22. I was, I had the business and I was a mom. So I was really young. And it's very similar, actually, the experience I have with the idea of always doing things and, getting better and doing better, except that I did let it overwhelm me at the time. You seem to maybe have, gotten better at that.
No, it did overwhelm me as well, for sure. Taban, it's overwhelming. So
it is.
I think it also gives us a chance. If we reflect on this sense of overwhelm, it can break you or it can really build you up. And yes. I think you have a choice there.
Absolutely. I mean, what I mean is at the time, I didn't really see it that way. I was like in the middle of it, right? So when I said that I was more of in a fixed mindset, I wasn't realizing that, okay, all these challenges are going to make me better. All these challenges, I'm going to eventually learn from them. Yeah. I was just like in the middle of them. So
we're in the middle of them. We won't think that way now. In retrospect,
just in retrospect, exactly.
we
Yeah.
see how we grew from it, but when you're in it, of course, you
Yeah,
can't
so
see
I
it.
wanted to say that because I thought maybe, you know, when you were in it, you could see all that. Wow, that's amazing. But I wanted to say that for the listener because, guys, yeah, obviously, when you're in the middle of it, sometimes it's hard to see that growth, or it's hard to even see the potential for growth, and it's hard even to see that you're not stuck or whatever. But you absolutely aren't, and you just keep going, sort of, in a way that also, I think we need to also make sure that there's self-care involved, because I don't know about you, but there are times when I was just running, you know, and not necessarily stopping to take care of myself or even stopping to celebrate successes. And so I think that's important as well. But the point is, yeah, baby steps, like you were saying, Dina, just baby steps in the direction of something you want in any aspect of your life. That's it. That's good enough. Because I don't want it to sound overwhelming to sort of have to be working on everything every day, or have to be, you know, like being better as though I'm not good enough. So that's something I wanted to ask you about as well, because, you know, sometimes people feel like, okay, wait a minute, so I have to just always be improving myself? Does that mean that what, like I'm not good enough now? And how do we reconcile those two thoughts? So I have an idea about that, but you can share your thoughts first.
Okay, I think, and like going back when you know, it was a very challenging time in my life. I was in my early 20s, juggling a growing organization, business, team, and growing a family and my children. It was a very, very challenging time, and at times I could feel like I'm drowning in it, and the stress of all this and the responsibility of all this is beyond overwhelming. So this could have like easily broken me into like a severe depression, or in and there was no way that I would let that happen to myself. And so it's just a small shift in perspective of, okay, what are the tools? There has to be something out there that I can learn from. There has to be tools and resources that I can find a way to balance between all this overwhelm. There has to be something I can read, something I can learn from. So that was the initial, as this overwhelm and challenge is happening, this is the thought process, not a victim mindset of, look at what's happening to me, this is too much, I can't take it. No, it was a perception. Okay, what can I do to improve myself? What can I do to what are the resources and tools? How can I learn from this to become better and be able to handle all this overwhelm that I feel is drowning me? And so from here came the learning of, you know, holding on to any resource, any book, any thing I can listen to that will continuously program my mindset to the positive, to get better, how to overcome these challenges, to help make me a better person, to help adjust the mindset. So because it's so easily to drift to the negative when you're in all this overwhelm and you feel you're drowning and all this stress. It's so easy to shift to the negative mindset, and it's so hard to continuously wire your brain and wire yourself to the positive. But it's work, but it's also practice, and it's a habit. And so that's what I would continuously do, is hold on to these resources, these books. I would consume them. I would just continuously reprogram my thoughts, and work on improving myself. And so exposure to these different resources, ways of improving myself, both personally and professionally, and reaching out to mentors, people who can support me, reaching out to networks of people going through the same thing maybe, and how and seeing how they're dealing with these things, and maybe different kinds of role models, seeking out role models. All these different tools and resources really helped in shaping my mindset, my behaviors, my habits, And it was like a system that really helped in transformation. And if I can share just a few also helpful points that I found very resourceful and helpful, was number one, taking time to reflect on where you're at and how you can continuously improve. What are the ways that you can seek out that I just mentioned? Number two, when you're drowning in these negative thoughts or overwhelm or challenges, take time to also journal and journal down your thoughts and anything that's on your mind that you're overthinking or leading you to worry. Write it down. When you write things down and it's in front of you, you kind of almost step back from this situation. The other thing is daily practicing gratitude, because this puts you in a different state of mind. Even gratitude for the smallest things in your life, gratitude for the people in your life, anything you can be grateful for. Have this kind of daily practice of gratitude, because this puts you in a different state of mind and a different feeling state on a daily basis. Anything you learn, apply it, take action and learn it and apply it. Find a way to apply it into your daily life. So like if you've learned a new tool or a new practice or a new habit or a new behavior, integrate it into your life immediately. Of course, movement, exercise, this puts you in another state of mind and it energizes you, because a lot of times you feel completely drained and you feel there's no way I'm going to make time for this. But believe me, it re-energizes you. Even if you do it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just take time to move and exercise. Anything that you can like give back, or from your time, from your resources, giving back, sharing your knowledge, sharing, taking the time to give back to your community in any way. That practice, whenever you do it, it gives you back a lot of energy back as well. And lastly, spending time in silence, whether it's through meditation, prayer, spending time in nature, any practice that can silence the mind and where you go beyond your analytical thinking, worrying mind. Being in a state like this, allows you to receive ideas, inspiration. There's a very strong power in stillness. You won't be able to receive insights and inspiration and ideas when you're continuously worried and overthinking and stressed and in a negative spiral. There's no room for these ideas and inspirations and things to come in that can help you. So when you take time to spend time in silence in any way of these modalities, it's a very powerful state to be in.
Absolutely. And all of these things you shared are very powerful tools. And thank you for sharing them. Actually, so many of the things you shared are, scientifically proven to be happiness boosting practices. Because obviously mindset and happiness are so related.
Intertwined, of course.
Definitely. Our mindset affects our actions, our emotions, and then our actions. So it plays a huge role ultimately in how happy we feel we are. And some of the things you mentioned, just to summarize them, things like gratitude, journaling, meditation, nature, being silent in any way, movement, exercise, giving back, connecting with other people, seeking mentors. These are all amazing things because, first of all, they include people, they include appreciation of things around us. And it's pretty hard to be doing these practices and in the same moment being, depressed or anxious. Obviously, there are many moments in the day. So there are times in the day when we won't feel as well. And that's just the way life is. It's really just about during those times. Well, first of all, we need to honor how we feel at that moment and accept it. And at the same time, we don't need to keep the same emotional state the whole day. We can do something different. And what I like about how I see you applying these things to your life, Dina, is that I actually see you applying them to your life. So, I mean, I see you going out there and like you're doing. Is it kite surfing that you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see you kite surfing, and I see you exercising early morning, and I see you doing yoga, and so you are applying a lot of these things to your life. Obviously, you know, none of our lives are exactly the way they seem on social media. And I think I can just take a minute to say that, you know, to anybody who's listening, please don't compare your lives to people's social media lives, because, you know, that's not the reality. However, at the same time, I have noticed from your social media that, yes, you're an entrepreneur, you're doing things, you're helping people, you're growing your business and so on. And you are taking time to enjoy your life, spend time with family, move, exercise, and, you know, have fun. Am I right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's a way of life. It's a way of being. And it's not something that's out of reach for anybody. Anyone can do it. It's so simple. It's just integrating anything that you enjoy and brings you happiness. It could be anything from, it doesn't have to be exercise. It could be cooking. You love to cook. You love to read. You think of all the things you love doing. These are things that will bring you happiness the more you do of them. Even do them for a small amount of time. Anything that brings you joy and happiness in the smallest way, spending time with friends, spending time with family. You know, it doesn't have to be something major.
It doesn't at all. And it can be, you can just choose one thing for even this week. Like this week, I'm just going to choose one thing. I mean, even if it isn't a new thing every day, like I'm just trying to make sure that every person who's listening, exactly.
Make it simple, make it accessible. Anything that you enjoy, integrate it into your day, integrate it into your week. It doesn't have to be something big. It's just something that you personally enjoy. So think about it. What do you personally enjoy? What do you feel excited about? What is it that you gives you happiness? Write these things down and do more of them. Think of ways to integrate them into your day, into your week. You know, it's a conscious effort. It's a conscious effort.
Yeah, it is. And but it's important because in the end, you're going to feel better. And that takes me back to when I was saying, because sometimes people they find too much pressure in the idea of I've got to always be better or whatever. It's not about. It's about you feeling better, really. When you feel better, you can do better. It's about you getting whatever you want out of life. It's not pressure to do anything. It's basically inviting you to look at your life now and look at where you are. And you know what? If you're happy with all the things in your life, great. What's the problem? There's no problem. You don't have to do anything in particular. It's about where am I now? Let me sort of assess the different areas of my life. Is there an area where I feel like I want to see myself somewhere else, or I want to see this look a different way? Then how does that look? And then what can I do today to be, you know, on that path, even if it's a tiny step? But it doesn't mean that you have to change all your life around. But the thing is, we're changing and we're growing anyway, right? I mean, every day we exist. It's just part of the day. We are changing and growing, so we just might as well make it change and growth in the direction of what we want and who we want to be. So if we see an area of improvement, that's where we do the work. Obviously, if there's an area where we don't see a need for improvement, then we can keep that area the way it is. Like, I mean, I'm fully satisfied with my family life. I don't have to do much change in my family life. I can just honor it and appreciate it and, you know, show up for our family and enjoy it. So it's not like every single aspect of our lives we have to always be changing or growing. However, I think we do need to, even to keep it the same, that needs maintenance. That needs, you know, sort of like putting water in the plant, right? So we still have to show up for it, right? Every day.
Yeah. So it's simple and unique to each person. Okay. So everybody should be encouraged to take time to reflect on a few things. What do I want to experience in my life personally and professionally? How do I want to grow? How do I want to get better? What we want to achieve is very personal to each and every one of us. It's very unique to each and every one of us. How much effort or no effort you want to put is, again, personal and up to each and every one of us. But you know, from simple things, if you are someone who is interested in improving and getting better, a simple practice is to bring attention to your awareness, okay? To observe yourself more, to be aware of how you react, to bring an awareness to your behaviors, to almost like observe yourself, like take a step back from yourself and sometimes observe yourself. What triggers you? What gets you angry? What are things that upset you? And observe that. What is the thing that happened that triggered you to behave in that way, to react in that way? So number one, to become the observer of yourself. Okay,
Yes.
this is a first step and a very small step. It's almost like you're stepping back and observing yourself and your reactions. Secondly, you start to form an awareness. And awareness means you become aware of, you know, someone really upsets you and you want to scream and shout at them and yell, but you're aware now, so you catch yourself before you react. And the more you develop this awareness, the more you catch yourself in the old behaviors of how you behave, or things that you want to improve in yourself. Let's say in terms of how you communicate, your reactions, your thinking. You'll find yourself catching yourself when you're thinking a certain way, or maybe, you know, your thoughts are going into a very negative spiral. Bring an when you observe yourself, you bring an awareness in as well. And so these two things are very important to sort of develop in yourself, and it takes practice. And just keep it in mind. I'm going to start observing myself and how I behave in different situations with other people, in my personal life and my professional life. I'm going to observe myself. Okay, make that commitment to yourself. It's very small. That you'll find that you are almost developing a new awareness. And when you're more aware, you have a tendency to behave, you know, improve your behavior, improve your habits. And so this is something like I would really recommend, is these two things, observing yourself and developing an awareness. And reflect, take time to reflect on what you would like to experience in your life personally and professionally. And think what is the ultimate, you know, that you would like to, how would you like to grow in these two places? And take time with yourself alone and take some quiet time to reflect on these two things. And the other thing I would say is, you know, I want to share something that, you know, we all have phones, right? We all have a smartphone now. A lot of us have iPhones. A lot of us have different phones. So if we can imagine our phone as the hardware, right? And this hardware is like our brains. Our brain is like the hardware of this phone. And basically our habits and our beliefs and our behaviors are like the software in our phones. So if you can imagine yourself wanting to upgrade your habits, your beliefs, your behaviors, is like upgrading the software in your phone or in your brain, right? So if we can imagine that this change or this upgrade as instilling a new software program where we're instilling new habits, behaviors as a system for living. This is all about personal growth. So you're upgrading and you're instilling new belief systems. You're upgrading, you're instilling new habits for yourself, upgrading, instilling new behaviors for yourself, and new practices that you can adopt in your day-to-day life. So it's really like upgrading the software program running in your brain and commit to that upgrade in
Yes.
simple, small ways. So imagine your upgrade is like a software programming. Reboot, you can re-upgrade it. It is not meant to be the same way for the rest of your life. You can do small changes, small steps to raise your awareness, to observe yourself, to create better habits, to create better beliefs, to create better behaviors that serve you at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it and looking at it. And when we don't actually, when we're talking about mobiles and we don't upgrade the software, the mobile starts to malfunction, and
yes,
doesn't
there
really
you
work
go.
very well.
And
So
the
it
same
is
thing
important.
for us.
It is really important. And I think what many of us weren't aware of, I mean, I certainly wasn't, is to what extent we have these programs that we run from when we were children, and we're still running the same programs. We have a whole bunch of belief systems that were formed when we can't even remember. I mean, maybe they were even formed before we were born. And their beliefs about ourselves, about other people, about life itself, about if it's a safe place, beliefs about money, and so on and so on. All of these beliefs actually form what's called your mindset. And it is absolutely true. When you upgrade your mindset, you upgrade your life. And so who doesn't want to have an upgraded life? It really does start from the thoughts. It starts from that mindset. The mindset then affects how we feel. It affects what actions we take, and then therefore it affects what results we're going to get. And I mean, this was new to me. Maybe it wasn't really new, but I can say that I only started fully applying it, or any effectively applying it to my life, maybe 10 years ago. So there was, like, in my 20s and 30s, I was just going with life, and waking up and doing stuff every day. But I wasn't really aware of all these things. When I became consciously aware of how my unconscious mind works and how much our unconscious mind affects our day-to-day actions and choices, I was like, wow, okay, so then let's take charge and become more aware, as you said. And so exactly what you said, the only way to become more aware is to observe ourselves in any given situation. Why did I just say this? Why did I just do this? Why did this trigger me? Why do I have a problem with that, whatever that person just did, and so on. And the more we do that, and the more we even question our thoughts, the more we can have those thoughts work for us and not against us, as some of our thoughts might.
Yes, so absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure we all have beliefs that can drive us forward and that really help us. And we also have beliefs that are, keeping us where we are, or even, taking us further back. They're just harmful. And they were put there at some point, probably in the first, 6 years of our life, by somebody. And that's just all a belief is. It's like somebody else's opinion that at the time we took it to be a fact. And then that's it. We keep running the same programs. So the only way to break that cycle is to actually become still, observe, become aware. And the beautiful thing about observing, which you talked about, is obviously the idea is to practice non-judgmental observing of ourselves. And the beautiful thing about that is that the more we observe ourselves non-judgmentally, that's what I found, we also have a larger capacity to be non-judgmentally observing other people. It actually allows us to expand this, this compassion to other people as well. And the more we do that, and the more we sort of tap into who we truly are and who we want to be and the kind of life we want, it also allows us to allow other people to be who they want and to live the life they want. Or at least that's something I have found in my sort of maybe the last 10 years of my journey. My capacity for being more compassionate to myself has grown, and it has even improved my relationships and sort of my ability to spread love and compassion more globally as well. So it's kind of a beautiful side effect, if we can call it that. What do you think about that? Have you experienced that as well? Something like that?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's everything, the accumulation of everything we're talking about. And if I were, to give some advice, in the end, it would be, again, to observe, to be more aware, and to reflect on what are the beliefs that are instilled in each and every one of us from a young age. You know, beliefs can also be upgraded. We don't have to.
Absolutely.
We have to reflect on what are the beliefs that are instilled in us that no longer serve us. It might be that we, as a child, you know, had this thought instilled in us that maybe we're not enough, or we're not good enough, or whatever it is, whatever that belief is, and it's deeply, deeply ingrained in our subconscious. But it's not true, and we can change it. So that's what we need to be aware of and reflect on, the thoughts and the behaviors and beliefs and the habits. All these things, reflect on it. Take time to reflect on these things that are no longer serving you, and just know that they can be changed and upgraded with different habits and beliefs and behaviors that will serve you better and will develop you better and improve and help you to improve every area of your life. So if we think of something, you know, be aware of your thoughts because they affect your emotions. Beware of your emotions because they affect your beliefs. Beware of our beliefs because they affect our behavior, and beware of our behaviors because they affect our habits, and our habits ultimately form our identity, and then it's simply who you are. So it all starts up here. So be aware of your thoughts, be aware of your habits and your actions. You know, everything affects the next thing. And if I can end with you know, another final word of advice is that just remember that that discipline always leads to good habits, and that habits lead to consistency, and consistency is what leads to developing a positive mindset. So just to keep these things in mind.
Very nicely put. Yes, absolutely. And I love that you mentioned discipline. Sometimes people don't like that word. It sounds, you know, like too much pressure, but it's discipline towards something you want, right? I mean, it's the discipline to bring something into your life that, you know, that isn't there or that you want to work towards. So it's a good discipline. I mean, in the end, that's how you get results.
And you're mentioning, like, you know, people might think it's too much pressure or too much, or it's a small shift in mindset. You know, at the end of the day, what weighs more than this pressure? I'm sure the weight of, you know, leading a healthy, happy, joyful, positive life outweighs the pressure you feel to get there.
Yes, so, it's so funny. I keep going back to this pressure. I must be feeling some pressure or something these days. I don't know. That shows what's happening in here. But yeah, absolutely. I'm not trying to dissuade people from this. Definitely not, because the idea is, if you're feeling stuck or uncomfortable, or, you know, something is just, it's less than satisfactory to you wherever you are in the moment, then of course make that move, even, you know, a tiny move in the direction of something that feels better and is more exciting. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And there is no pressure. You're the ones, you're in charge. You're in charge. But the point of discipline is to just make it a priority. That's all that means. So I'm gonna do it every day. Like, I actually can give you an example. Like, I bought this thing here so that I can drink water. I wasn't drinking water, like, not, I mean, hardly. I mean, like a small glass of water a day or something. And that was, I realized that's one of my health goals. I want to drink more water. And so what's one tiny thing I can do today to get me drinking more water? And so I went out and bought this. It made a big difference. By the way, I drank a lot more water this last month after I bought this than I probably have in my lifetime. So
yeah, it's so just tiny changes, tiny shifts.
Yeah, that's it. Just
and
a tiny shift.
Highly recommend reading James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. It's all about the small changes we can do in our lives that overall will compound and have a much bigger effect at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I think there's a philosophy, Japanese Kaizen philosophy, about similar, just these tiny little shifts. So you can literally you don't even have to call it exercise. When it comes to, I'm giving examples of things that I can, sort of more tangible. You can just call it moving, and you can just move for a minute, like just right now. You can just literally just
stand up and walk.
Just that's it. Or just go like this. Do anything. Move for a minute today, and then feel really proud of yourself, and then move for an extra minute, the next day, and so on. I mean, it can be really super simple, but yes, I mean, baby steps. Mindset matters, guys. It absolutely does. Dina, you seem to have gotten a good understanding of mindset and applying it to your day-to-day life. And I think it's a really great example of somebody who has developed a growth mindset. So I'm really glad that you're here to share.
People need to understand it is simple. Don't feel overwhelmed by it at all. It's very small shifts, very small practices.
And little, just notice your thoughts, and then decide, is this thought helping me in this minute? Is this going to help me today? Or is there a different thought that I can...
Observe yourself, be aware.
Yes. And that's it. And it adds up. You can do it, guys. Definitely. Yes, thank you so much, Dina. Yes. And actually, we can just, before we end, we can also talk about visualizing your life, because that really has helped me. I mean, it has helped me to just close my eyes and just be still, as you mentioned, and then just see it in front of me. Even if you're not a very visual person, you might hear it. You might, maybe you can't see clear images. It doesn't matter. But if you close your eyes and just imagine your life as you want it, notice what comes up. Notice what has changed. What obviously is something that you perceive as more exciting for you right now, or better. And if you do that, and maybe just a 5-minute visualization, just sitting quietly and breathing slowly and deeply, you'll be surprised what can come out of that visualization. And you might even write down very quickly, or even draw what was in that visualization. And you'll find yourself more easily taking a step towards making it happen.
That is definitely part of the new programming. Where we talked about upgrading the software. When you continuously envision the various aspects of your life that you want to improve, from personally to professionally to family to relationships to health and fitness to mindset, all of that, envision each aspect daily. Just take time to imagine it and feel the feelings of how good you feel when you've reached that vision, or you accomplished that goal in that specific area. Bring it to life in your mind. Again, we talked about upgrading the program. This is all part of it.
Absolutely, because the unconscious or subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So if you can see it in your mind, and if you can feel those feelings of how you would feel if this were a reality, your mind actually helps you take the steps to make it a reality. It doesn't know the difference.
95% of our mind is our subconscious. And so we need to learn that through action, through practices like this, you can rewire the subconscious mind and instill new beliefs, new ways of thinking, through envisioning, through these practices. You can instill a new program into that subconscious mind.
Yes, absolutely. I have definitely felt the benefits of doing that. I at some point, after I was doing my NLP and hypnotherapy course to become a practitioner, but we had to do so much of the inner work ourselves. And I remember closing my eyes and visualizing, I was in this beautiful place, and I was talking to people. It was in nature, and it was not in my country, so it was somewhere else. I don't know where. And I was talking about happiness. I was giving them a workshop about happiness. And then a few months later, I was at the University for Peace in Costa Rica giving a workshop on happiness.
Amazing.
And it was
you manifested it.
Yeah. And of course, if manifesting means, of course, taking actions as well to make it happen. I didn't just sit in a room and it didn't just happen on its own. I did stuff, but I did stuff after I saw it.
You visualized it and you took action, and you created
I saw it first. I knew it was possible, and I knew how I felt, and then I took actions, but it was much easier for me to take those actions than had I not seen that in my mind first. So this kind of mental rehearsing is really, really valuable. And one of the two best times of day to do it, just to give you guys this tip, is the very first few minutes when you wake up in the morning, or the few minutes right before you sleep at night. So those are when you're more tapped into your subconscious or unconscious mind.
Yeah, we didn't mention that, we have different brainwave states.
Yes.
And one is beta, and that's when we're focused and we're alert, and it's our day in our day-to-day life. And then there's alpha. And the alpha state is the calmer state, when you're more reflective, so it's like when you're just woken up or you're drifting off to sleep. Exactly. Your brain waves go from beta to alpha. And when you're in the alpha state of no thoughts and calm and you're reflective, this is when your subconscious is more malleable and can absorb the ideas that you're instilling in it before you dip into deeper brainwave states like theta and delta. And so that is a great point.
That's the best time. Yeah.
Yes, it's the best time. Why. As you're drifting off to sleep and as you're waking up and you're in the alpha state, you can rewire the program, upgrade the software.
That's the best time to talk to your mind. It's the best time to visualize things. It's just all your mind needs is for you to give it instructions of what you want. And, it's got your back. It really can support you in achieving the things you want. So, yeah, this is a good thing to remember. This has been so much fun. And
I know.
I think a lot of people will find this very valuable. I really appreciate I really appreciate that you came on. And I'm excited to do more episodes and maybe have you back one day.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Maybe even in person. Maybe we can even do it in person one day.
Yes, thank you, Rania, for everything that you're doing.
Thank you, Dina. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, everyone.
Whoever's listening, guys, if you have feedback, if you have questions, let us know. And check out Dina. She's doing amazing work. And talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Join me every other Thursday for a new one. Happiness for Humanity is available on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms. If you found this episode valuable, please share it. Let's come together for a happier world.